So this morning we are starting the session on prevention. And I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise because all of us and our partnership with you is about the work we do in prevention. And last night we shared a little bit about our journey as My Choices Foundation and how we started in domestic violence and then how we started our work in Operation Red Alert. But this morning we actually want to share with you, all of you are involved in the Safe Village program. And how did we end up in the Safe Village program? How did that become our prevention program? What we all know, and it's something that's been widely published and something that all of you know, is that human trafficking has become the largest organized crime. And I think we say that, and then some people might say, okay, so well, what is number 2 and what's number 3? Like, you know, sometimes we say things and then we don't actually ask, well, what are the other 2, or what was number 2, or what was number 3? And the other 2 organized crimes are arms trading and drug trading. And I think one of the things that for me was sort of a horrific reality when I read about the how do they calculate that? How do they calculate what is the margin on human trafficking versus what is the profit margin on drug trading or arms trading? And why is it so profitable to do human trafficking? And the reality is, and I mean, I think in the back of our minds we know this, but the reality is that if you have a small bag of cocaine and you sell it on the street, you can only sell that bag of cocaine once, and then you've sold your bag of cocaine. But if you have a locked up young girl, you can sell her 50 times that day. And then the next day you can sell her 50 times again. And so your profit margin on a human is so much higher. And the traffickers know this. And I mean, and that's why it has grown into such a large industry. And so this is the reality. I mean, and we know this. As Dr. Sunita was saying last night, you know, whether we're not 100% sure, is it a goal every 3 minutes or is it a goal every 10 minutes? We know it's somewhere in between. But what we do know is, because we meet these goals, is that the average age of these girls has dropped to being only 12 years old. And what we also know is that only 1% of these girls get rescued. And I think that's for our team, that's where reality sort of sunk in, is that only 1% of these girls get rescued. So if only 1% get rescued, isn't there a way we can stop more of the girls getting into trafficking if we know prosecution is so difficult, and if we know rehabilitation and protection of these girls are so difficult? And we know, even in this audience, we have NGOs who work in that field, who work in the prosecution, who work in the rehabilitation. And it's hard working and it's heartbreaking, and it takes a very long time just to get one conviction. We agree with this almost belief or quote of one of the stalwarts in the industry who said, rescuing people drowning in a river is compassion, But going upriver and finding out why people are falling in the first place is justice. And I think for us as an organization, as we wanted to try and find out why are so many girls falling into the river, and is there a way we can prevent more of these girls falling in? So for us, it was why? Why are so many girls getting trafficked? And if we can find out why, is there something that we can design? Is there a how? How can we prevent this? But we kind of have to understand the why first, and then we can do the how. And so what we did is, and some of you know this because we talk to you when we do the training as partners and when we do the implementing partner trainings. For about 18 months, we had a partnership with an organization based in Mumbai that went around the country and went into different villages and worked with different partners and really tried to understand, working with the families, working with the grassroots NGOs, speaking to the fathers, speaking to the girls, and get behind the reason of why and how these girls are getting trafficked. And so for us, that was getting to the why. So even before we started designing any of our programs or implementing any of our programs, it was understanding the why so that we can develop the how of the program. And this is where the research was so powerful. Because up till that point, even when we spoke to other NGOs or marketing people that we had in partnerships, the first reaction was that it should be about outrage. It should be a message about, this is so wrong, and do you know that this is what's happening to the girls once they get trafficked? And it was trying to get people to get angry, and that if they get angry, then they'll stand up and they'll do the fight, and not just to get sort of the bystanders angry, but to get the families angry. So to get the fathers angry and get the mothers angry, and if they will get angry, then they won't let their children go. But what was unique about India, and it's different from some other countries in the way trafficking works, is that close to 85% of the parents whose girls are being trafficked, and our implementing partners know it because they work in the field, is the parent doesn't actually know the girl is getting trafficked. The understanding is that she's either getting married, or she's going for a job, or she gets taken away for domestic work, or she's getting an education. So to get them to be angry about something that they don't know what they're actually angry about is not going to work as a message. The only thing we would have achieved is to put the fathers, who's sort of the protector of the family, on the defense. But he's not really sure what he's defending because he's not understanding the message. So what the biggest insight we got from the work in the field, and as I said, it was almost 2 years of work before we even designed the program, is that we have to bring a positive message into the village. A positive message into the family, a positive message into the school, a positive message about how the family, the community, the girls, the boys can look after themselves. And that's uniting them. It's not tearing them apart. The insights we also got in the research from what the traffickers know is there were a whole bunch of things that the traffickers know. The prejudice against the girls, the low-risk perception, social expectations, poverty and scarcity. And all these things combined make the parents extremely susceptible to the promises and the tricks that they play on the parents. So the message we would have designed, if we didn't do all this research and work, would have been a message of outrage. But the whole message changed around, and it went from outrage into a message into goodness, and bringing out the good in the father. How can we protect our girls? Bringing in the good in the mother. How can we look after our girls? So we moved away from outrage and speak into the inherent goodness that's in the family. And this led basically into the design of Operation Red Alert. And you've seen this, I mean, most of our implementing partners, because we do this in our training, that we have a grassroots program, which is our Save Village program, and then we have the helpline. And yesterday, when all our state coordinators did their presentations, you could see all the numbers and the calls that came through the helpline, and how many of the cases are actually coming through the helpline. And then we have the media side, where we run a lot of campaigns throughout the year, where we work sort of more with younger people, and viral campaigns and campaigns that we design. So that's our program structure. I'm not going to go into more depth into this, because most of you in the audience are actually the implementing partners. You understand this very well. How all this design work led to the structure of what we call our flagship program, which is the Save Village program, and which is very specifically designed into the target audience, the pre-visit to get the village ready. Then we have the Save Village program. We work with all the stakeholders, and then the revisit. I think one of our biggest challenges, once we designed the program, once we understood the message we want to take to the village, and we had Mr. Ram here last night from Quantium, is now that we have the message and we know who we want to address and how we want to address them, is where do we start? Because as you all know, there's 600,000 villages in India. Not all of them are at risk, but we don't have enough resources, and there aren't enough NGOs and grassroots NGOs to address all the villages. And this is where technology plays such an important role in all the work we do. I mean, all of our implementing partners will know, all of the work that we capture, all the forms that you capture. We've gone through a journey of how it's becoming more efficient and more effective to capture all our data. But we use this tool to identify which villages are most at risk in the community that you work. And then those are the villages that we go to first, because we cannot go to all of them. And as you know, we work with all the stakeholders in the village. I think it's one of the other things in the design of the program, is sometimes programs are designed, but it only works with one small part of a challenge that a community is facing, and it leaves out the other stakeholders. So even in the domestic violence programs that we work, we don't just work with the victim of the abuse, we work with the whole family. Because if you only work with one of the stakeholders, that person still needs to walk back into a home every night where the other stakeholders aren't part of the solution, or they aren't part of the tools that we give them to address the challenge. And the same way we've addressed our program. We work with the fathers, we work with the mothers, we work with the boys, we work with the girls, the teachers, the nodal teachers, we've got the rakshaks, we've got the elders. So we just want to play you a short little clip about a good father, because ultimately we know that the father is still the decision maker in the family. And that's why we spend so much time in the village with equipping the father to be inherent in making good decisions for his daughter. So let's just look at a good father.
నా పేరు కృష్ణ, మా పాప పేరు అనుష. మా పాప అంటే నాకు చాలా ప్రేమ, చాలా అభిమానం. మా ఊర్లో అందరూ కూడా వ్యవసాయం పంట పండించుకొని కూలి నాలుగు పనులు చేస్తూ ఉంటారు. ఇది మా యొక్క కుటుంబ పరిస్థితులు. నాకు నా పెళ్ళైనప్పటికీ నాకు 5-6 సంవత్సరాల తర్వాత నాకు సంతానం అందిన తర్వాత మాకు ఫస్ట్ పాప పుట్టడం జరిగింది. నా బిడ్డ అంటే నాకు చాలా ఆప్యాయత. ఎందుకంటే మాకు ఉన్నదే ఒక పాప. ఈ పాపని చాలా మంచిగా విలువగా చూసుకొని ఆమె యొక్క భవిష్యత్తుని మేము మంచిగా ఉండాలని చెప్పేసి నా బిడ్డని నేను ఎప్పుడు కూడా అనుకుంటూ ఉంటాము. అయితే మేము మా ఇంటి దగ్గర లేని సమయంలో మా వదిన వాళ్ళ ఇంటికి ఒక ఆమె వచ్చింది, అంటే చుట్టం వచ్చింది. ఆ బంధువు వచ్చిన తర్వాత మేము అక్కడ లేని సమయంలో మా పాపని మా అనుషని తీసుకొని మా అబ్బాయి సినిమాకి చూద్దాం చెప్పి తీసుకెళ్ళింది. చెప్పిన తర్వాత సాయంత్రం అయ్యేసరికి కూడా రాకపోయేసరికి ఫోన్ చేస్తే వరంగల్లో ఉన్నాం, వస్తాను అన్నది. తర్వాత మళ్ళీ ఫోన్ చేస్తే ఫోన్ స్విచ్ ఆఫ్ ఉన్నది. ఫోన్ స్విచ్ ఆఫ్ ఉన్న తర్వాత మళ్ళీ ఇంకా రాలేదని చెప్పేసి నేను వాళ్ళ ఇంటికి పోయి వాళ్ళ ఇంటి పక్కన గొడవ పెడితే మా ఇక్కడ లేదని చెప్పేసి అన్నది. వాళ్ళ ఇల్లుని నేను కసితోని అగ్గిపుల్ల గీకి నేను ఇంటిని తగలబెడదామని అనుకున్నా. వద్దని చెప్పేసి వాళ్ళంతా అనేసరికి నేను మళ్ళీ పోలీస్ స్టేషన్కి పోతా అంటే కూడా మా ఊరు పెద్ద మనుషులు అందరూ వచ్చేసి వద్దులే, పోలీస్ స్టేషన్ వద్దు, ఏమొద్దు, నీ బిడ్డ జీవితం ఆగమవుతుంది, ఎందుకు మళ్ళీ ఆడపిల్ల పరువు పడుతుంది అని చెప్పేసి అంటే నేను అప్పుడు ఆగడం జరిగింది. పెద్ద మనుషులు చెప్పడం వల్ల నా బిడ్డ భవిష్యత్తు ఆగమవుతుంది అని చెప్పేసి నేను ఊరుకున్నాను. నేను పడుకునేసరికి ఆ నిద్ర పట్టకుంటుంటే అట్లా నా బిడ్డ గురించి, అనుష గురించి ఆలోచిస్తాను. ఎక్కడ పోయింది ఏంది అని చెప్పేసి ఆలోచించుకుని అట్లనే పడుకుని పోయినాం. మూడో రోజు నాకు మా అక్కయ్య కూతురు అక్కడ ఉన్నది. మా అక్కయ్య కూతురు ఉండి ఫోన్ చేసింది, ఇట్లా మామయ్య ఇట్లా అనుష ఇక్కడికి వచ్చింది, ఇక్కడే ఉన్నది అని చెప్పేసి అంటే వెంటనే నేను సాయంత్రం పోయి నా బిడ్డ అనుషని తీసుకొని వచ్చిన. అక్కడికి పోయేసరికి వాళ్ళతో గొడవపడి అప్పుడు ఇక నాకు నా బిడ్డను చూసేసరికి 3 రోజులు కనిపించబోయేసరికి బాగా కోపం వచ్చేసి అసలు నా బిడ్డను చూసేసరికి నాకు దుఃఖం ఆగలే. మా పాపకు జరిగినటువంటి అన్యాయం జరగడం వల్ల నాకు చాలా బాధ అనిపించింది. ఇటువంటి అన్యాయం ఎవరికి కూడా, ఆడపిల్ల తండ్రికి కూడా జరగకూడదు. ఇట్లా జరగడం వల్ల చాలా బాధ అనిపించింది.
అక్రమ రవాణా అంటే మానవ అక్రమ రవాణా.
మై చాయిసెస్ రెడ్ అలర్ట్ ఎస్విపి ప్రోగ్రాం మా విలేజ్లో కండక్ట్ చేయడం జరిగింది.
ఎవరికి తెలవకుండా మనుషులు, అమ్మాయిల్ని, ముఖ్యంగా ఆడవాళ్ళని ఒక స్థలం నుంచి ఇంకో స్థలానికి తీసుకొని పోయి
దానివల్ల నేను ఆ ఎస్విపి ప్రోగ్రాంలో పాల్గొని మానవ అక్రమ రవాణా అలా పిల్లలు గురి కాకుండా
అని వాళ్ళు కూడా తీసుకెళ్ళి ఎక్కడో అమ్మటం అమ్మాయిలు ఆ విధంగా జరుగుతున్నాయి. కాబట్టి మీకు ఒక అవగాహన అనేది తీసుకొచ్చి మీ ఊర్లో మీ అమ్మాయిల్ని ఏ విధంగా సంరక్షించుకోవాలి.
ప్రతి ఒక్క తండ్రి కూడా తన యొక్క బిడ్డని కాపాడుకోవాల్సినటువంటి బాధ్యత ఉంది. ఏ ఆడపిల్లకు కూడా ఏ తల్లిదండ్రులకు కూడా జరగకూడదు. నేను మంచి తండ్రిని కాబట్టి నా బిడ్డని కాపాడు.
So imagine we can have thousands and thousands and thousands of fathers like that all across India. And we speak inherently to the good that's in them, and how they want to protect their girls and how they want to look after them. And in the same way, we, as you all know, we have our comic book, and we speak to the fathers, we speak to the mothers. We call them informed mothers. With the mothers, we address a wider range of topics. We speak a lot about child marriage, we speak about sexual abuse, and address a lot of things that we know is affecting their daughters. Then we speak to the guardian girls, which is an amazing concept which we love, because through a lot of the programs that we do in the school, ultimately, if you ask the girls who is or who can keep you safe, like who is someone that can really look after you, in most instances, the answer will be, it's my friend. Not necessarily because my friend is so big and she's physically going to be able to protect me, but she's somebody that looks after me. So if I miss a day of school, she's normally one that comes to my house and asks, where are you? Or we've received many calls through our helpline where it's actually the friend that calls to say, my friend's family is going to marry her off. She's 14 years old. Is there something you can do? And so we have this concept of the guardian girl where they get together and they have a pledge, where they take a pledge where it says, I will be a guardian girl. I will look after my friend. And this is extremely powerful. And we see this through our helpline, how the girls actually pledge together and look after each other. And then finally we have the cool boy. We say what it means to be a cool boy, and especially when we bring in the cricketers where they speak to I will respect to protect, that what it actually means to be cool is to respect someone, and how you treat someone with respect. And so these are the heroes in our villages. They are the ones that's ultimately going to build a safe village. And this is how our program was designed. And as all of you will know, because we've spoken about it, we've now conducted over 3,000 of these Safe Village programs. And the way Vivian is going on, these numbers just keep on doubling and the states just keep on growing. So before we close this session, I know many of you have done many Safe Village programs. We saw yesterday through the state coordinators how well and how many programs each one is doing. But maybe you haven't had the luxury almost or the opportunity to see what it looks like from the outside, what a Safe Village program looks like. And for those of you in the audience who is not an implementing partner, we would just like to give you a small glimpse of what these programs look like. So please join us in just looking at what a Safe Village program looks like.
అక్రమ రవాణా అంటే ఏంటని తెలుసా? మానవ అక్రమ రవాణా ఎవరికీ తెలవకుండా మనుషులు అమ్మాయిల్ని ముఖ్యంగా ఆడవాళ్ళని ఒక స్థలం నుంచి ఇంకో స్థలానికి తీసుకొని పోయి.
I am Sister Aradhya. I am professionally social worker. I have been involved in this profession for almost 15 years. So there are many stories when I heard, it inspired me to work on this issue. So I felt that we need to reach to the rural India where people become aware that their daughters and their wives are being taken. When the My Choices Red Alert came forward looking to work on preventive part, I had lot of interest because when the production is stopped, there is no demand. When the whole family becomes aware of this issue of human trafficking, girls and women are taken away from their families. Whole family takes responsibility to safeguard their own girls, their own daughters, their own wives. That's why it is more important each community become aware and whole community at the end take responsibility for their own daughters of their village and women of their village, so that they become the agents of change to combat human trafficking at the larger level. So we use the films, we use the skits, we use the local singing like folk songs, all that, and we also have literature for the school children which gives in a comic book. So the children very keenly go through the photos, pictures there and read and also share with their friends, and as well as we are also getting the calls on when the child is abused, when the child is going to be married at the age of 13, 14, so that these are the means of trafficking. So the children are really becoming aware and taking action to safeguard their own families, to safeguard their own friends.
అని వాళ్ళు కూడా తీసుకెళ్ళి ఎక్కడో అమ్మటం అమ్మాయిల్ని. ఆ విధంగా జరుగుతున్నాయి కాబట్టి మీకు ఒక అవగాహన అనేది తీసుకొచ్చి మీ ఊర్లో మీ అమ్మాయిల్ని ఏ విధంగా సంరక్షించుకోవాలి.
It is very important to educate fathers, brothers, husbands to make them know that women and men are equal and they are equally important to build a family, to build the society, and girls also need to be educated from the early age to compete with the boys, to be equal, protecting their self-respect and dignity. That's what it is very important to empower women as well as men, so that they feel the importance of equality and importance of mutual respect, importance of giving importance to every person in the family, whether they are girl or boy. So if in every family father or brother is taking such challenging risk to safeguard their own daughters as well as the others' daughters, the whole society will be free of human trafficking.
All the implementing partners who saw that enjoyed that, because I know you are doing that work, but you don't get to see on film what it looks like to do a Safe Village program. So it's almost like you saw an autobiography, or you saw yourself in the movie. So I just want to finish off by saying, and I hope this just encourages and inspires all of you to think about this, because the work you do is not easy, and we appreciate that there are many times where it might seem overwhelming. And so just let these words sink in. Time may be limited, but opportunities are limitless. Sometimes our capacity may be limited, but our potential is limitless. Sometimes our intelligence may be a bit limited, but our wisdom is limitless. The reality may be limited, but our imagination is limitless. And the years in life may be limited, but the life in our years is limitless. So thank you to each one of you. Thank you for all the Save Village programs. Thank you for all the hard work. Thank you for the prevention you do. And thank you for making India a safer place for all our girls. Thank you very much.